It's Friday, the 17th of September. My name's Juan Brown. You're watching the Blanco Lirio channel. We're here at the Stihl National Championship Air Races, Reno, Nevada, at the Sport Pits, the sport class of aircraft, the largest class of aircraft racing at Reno, the future of air racing here at Reno, sporting, I believe, over 30, maybe 34 aircraft. The gold class winners of this sport class are pushing unlimited speeds, nearly 400 miles an hour out of these experimental aircraft. Let's go take a look at these engines and see how they're doing this. Check it out. All right, we're down here in the sports class pits for a very special update on some extremely fast aircraft. This is Robbie Grove of Grove Aircraft. You probably heard of Grove Tires, Wheels, and Brakes. That's you.
That's me.
And we're going to check out, is this aircraft a Glass Air 3 we're going to check out?
Yep.
Okay, and you work together with
Jim Rust,
who is the owner of
Whirlwind Propellers.
Okay, so check this out. How do you get 400 miles an hour out of these sport aircraft? Here's a fine example. All right, let's go with the wide angle here. All right, there's the Whirlwind Propeller right here. So tell us a little bit about this prop.
It's a one-off propeller that's built just for this airplane to come up here and go 400 miles an hour.
Okay, composite design.
Yeah, yep, all composite.
Short diameter, relatively wide cord. There's the cord on that prop right there. No real time limits that you've
no.
on this prop and hub. And what are you using for a hub?
It's a Whirlwind hub. They
the
manufacture
whole
their own
thing.
hub.
All right.
It's a feathering propeller also.
Full feathering.
Yeah. So
okay.
if you need it to make the runway,
you can do that. All right, good. Let me fix this camera here just a little bit. And that's your Grove wheels and brakes on here.
Yep.
So racing, go ahead.
That's all custom stuff that's not necessarily available to the
public. Yeah, but this is,
it will be eventually.
This is what we're talking about, how racing improves the breed. You get out here and test your product out here on the race course, and you know it's a pretty well proven product. Now this is a Glass Air 3.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about the engine.
It's a
Continental.
No, it's a Lycoming TIO 540 out of a Malibu.
Okay.
That has been modified to put 580 cylinders on it, so it's a 580 cubic inch now.
So TIO, that's turbocharged, injected, opposed, yep. 6-cylinder.
Yep.
And now the turbocharging, is that twin turbos?
Twin turbos.
So two turbos in there running into a common plenum.
Big turbos.
Big turbos. And then you pump up the size of the cylinders, and then you add nitrous. Are you running nitrous?
No nitrous.
No nitrous.
No, you don't need nitrous with turbos. You turn up the boost.
Okay, you just run it all off of the boost. Okay.
You run like a lot of boost.
Uh-huh.
You kind of keep that number guarded, but it's well above 80 inches.
80 inches. What's a typical boosted engine? More like 40 or 30?
40,
yeah.
I think the stock Malibu engine is like maybe 45 for takeoff for 5 minutes or less.
Wow. Wow.
So we run. So in the back of the airplane we have 12 gallons of ADI anti-detonation injection fluid, and there's 20 gallons in the passenger seat of water.
Okay, so that's how you're doing it. So your ADI, anti-detonation, and that's being injected directly into each cylinder?
Yeah, into the intake tubes.
Into the intake tubes.
Into each intake tube.
And then the water, you're running a spray bar over what?
Everything, the whole engine. I mean,
okay, so that's, do we see some of that, right?
Yep. There's a nozzle right inside of here, but there's a total of about 12 nozzles in there.
So right there would be an example of the spray bar system, kind of like we've seen on the Unlimiteds, but with these tiny little sprayers, and you're just spraying it all over.
The oil cooler, there's 2 on the oil cooler. There's, each cylinder has 1, and then there's extra ones in the front here.
Uh-huh.
So we go through about 18 gallons of water during the race.
Wow.
Spray bar water.
And
so we go through about 8 gallons of ADI during the race.
And is that are both those electrically controlled up in the cockpit?
Yeah.
Okay, and then tell us about that telemetry thing. Are you running the telemetry?
Yeah.
Okay, so the pilot is just got it. His hands are so full at these kind of speeds, and you're approaching you're passing other guys out there with a difference of over 100 miles an hour. That's a problem. So the pilot's got his hand full. He's watching outside all the time. He doesn't have time to manage all this engine parameters. So you're back in the pits, we're monitoring the telemetry.
Yeah, we're telling him what's, well, you know, we're basically, all we do, we only talk to him. He doesn't talk to us. And we basically keep him informed on any temperatures that are increasing and what they are, and you know, so he can handle whether he decides to pull the power back or
what are his options. He's got power. Does he even have mixture on this one? Traditional mixture.
Yeah, but typically if you're going really fast with lots of power, you just roll the thing back a couple of inches and it'll cool off. So yeah, so you know, we keep him abreast on it. If the oil temperature is getting hot, or if a particular cylinder is getting hot, we'll tell him that. We'll give them suggestions like, hey, pull the power back if you think we need to. But,
and you can also warn them about traffic ahead.
Oh, we definitely warn them, because it's scary to come up on an airplane that's going 100 miles an hour slower and you can't see it.
So in the crew, on the pit, you're monitoring telemetry, and somebody else in the pit is monitoring aircraft, and you're working together as a team to get that information.
I have a guy that operates the radio and does all the radio communication, and I basically call out the stuff and monitor the engine stuff. We want the pilot to look out the window.
Right.
We want the pilot to.
Right. Excellent. Great teamwork. Great way to work as a team. And what's your best speed so far?
Well, we qualified at 396.648.
That's unlimited
speeds.
We
were hoping for 400, but we missed it by, you know.
Has anybody out here gotten over 400 yet on the sport class?
I don't know if they've done it on the new course. You know, they changed the course.
Right.
They changed how they measure the course. So, what we did at 396 would have been about 402 or 403 on the old course.
Based on the geometry and all that of the course. Excellent.
So hopefully Andy will do well over that this year.
And which one's Andy? Right over here?
The Stihl airplane.
The Stihl airplane. Okay. And what's his last name again? Andy Finley. Yeah. Very good.
He's tough competition.
Wow. Robbie Grove with the Glass Air 3. What do you call this? Does it got a name?
It's called
Race 24?
Gremlin's Castle is what the name is.
Gremlin's Castle. Oh, speaking of that, so you're not running an ECU, you're not running a bunch of electronics.
It's all normal magnetos and mechanical fuel injection, just like a, you know,
old school.
Yeah.
Wow.
And mainly because that's where we came from, what we know and understand. And
because you're doing all this work yourself, this isn't a big budget airplane either.
No. This is probably the cheapest airplane on the sport class in the whole thing.
But it's the time. They've just taken the time. And here's the difference. Let me flip this camera back around here. Here's the difference that impresses me with this crew here and as other winning crews, is these guys dedicate the time, effort, and energy that it takes to get this done.
Right.
You don't just heap all your stuff in the back of the pickup truck and say, let's go to Reno and run, and just add a bunch of horsepower or nitrous. You spend the whole year fine-tuning the aircraft and the systems.
Well, in years, because to get the performance out of the engine, nobody knows how to make that engine do that. You can't go get a book. You can't go. There's three of us here that know how to do it.
Yeah.
And the other two don't tell us.
The other two competitors?
So we spent 5 years getting the airplane to where it is now. We spent 2 years building the airplane.
Yep.
And then, another 3 years getting the engine up to do what it does.
The speed. Wow.
It's a lot of work.
Okay, you've seen this aircraft out on my live feeds. I'm going to record a shot of you guys ripping around the pylons again, hopefully later on today. It's just incredible. Unlimited speeds, nearly 400 miles an hour. Thanks so much, Robbie.
We would have, if we were in the unlimited class, we would have qualified second. It's the second fastest propeller-driven airplane.
Really?
In the races, yeah.
Wow. This year. That's amazing.
Which is kind of pathetic for the unlimiteds.
Well,
I wish we had faster unlimiteds.
Yeah, it's getting just too expensive, and they're too priceless and all that whole story. And so the sport class is really the future of pylon racing.
This is
really unlimited, so to speak, pylon racing.
And it doesn't cost a ton of money.
Yeah, what do you got? Maybe he's probably only got $100 grand into this thing, but 5 years of time, research, effort, and energy, and that's what it takes. That's in the Stihl drags. That's Steve Henry. Same thing. Just time, research, energy, building, tweaking. Racing improves the breed.
Yep.
Thanks so much, Robbie Grove.
Alrighty.
Grove Aircraft. Get your tires, wheels, and brakes here. See you here.
Thank you.
Now here's an example of what these engines look like uncowled. This is a Lycoming 580. This is a Glass Air 3 aircraft. this particular engine has had a rough time of it, a rough go of it here at Reno, and has spun a main bearing, so it's done. They got to switch engines out. But here's one of the twin turbos located right here, coming off of the exhaust system and feeding into the intake system, and the other turbo would have been located right here, which is now off of this engine as they get this engine taken apart and getting ready to take it off of the aircraft and swap it out. So that's a little bit about how those twin turbos look and work in these large Lycoming 6-cylinder engines.
Sport Gold the past 2 years.
Sport Gold. Okay, this is the Stihl Race 30 Lancer Legacy aircraft with an amazing prop and engine combination. He's running second and third, first, second, third. He's right there in the winning for the entire sport class. And one of the most unique things on this aircraft is the propeller. This is a Macaulay propeller. It's aluminum, custom built and designed, hub and prop just for this race engine. It's got a time limit on the prop blades that they're still working out. They ran a 3-bladed prop before that had a time limit as short as 1 hour at racing speeds. This prop, however, has a bit longer time limit. They haven't quite worked that out just yet. But again, racing improves the breed, and this is improving propeller design. Macaulay propellers. What size is this engine again?
550 cubic inch.
It's the 550, so it's the Continental TSIO 550, commonly found in what sort of aircraft?
Your Cirrus, Cessnas.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But of course, you got the twin turbos located. There's one right there. There's the other one right over there. And now you're injecting ADI, anti-detonation injection system, right here. You do that electronically. That's water into the induction system to keep things cool. Then you run an electronic ignition on this one. No magnetos. Through an ECU, I take it.
Yep, SDS fuel injection.
And you're not messing with nitrous or anything because you got the twin turbos. You can boost it, right?
Yep.
So. And then you got somebody on the ground monitoring all the telemetry for you, getting that information back to the pilot?
We store it all in the Dynon screens, actually. We have a full Dynon suite.
Mm-hmm.
We store all the engine data on there.
Okay.
Pull it off at the end of the race.
And so the pilot's managing all that himself while he's racing?
Yes.
In this
correct.
one?
Yep.
Uh-huh. All right.
Yep. It's like running a dyno. And he runs a dyno while he goes around the
Constantly running a dyno. And look at this augmented exhaust design. That's pretty cool. That's similar to the 310 Harvey's got a similar system. Right out of the turbo, right into the augmenters. Pull that exhaust through there. Let's take a quick look on the... You can tell it's sponsored by Stihl. This is unique chainsaw design on the wings. What's that? Oh yeah, cool. All right, let's do that.
Thomas's wiring.
Please. Oh yeah. Do you call this a CAN wiring or something like that, where you have all those systems already looped out? It's Thomas wiring. That's Thomas right there. Okay, excellent, beautiful workmanship. Look at that in there, man. And there's the front office. Left seat reserved for, I suppose you put your ADI tank right there in the right seat?
It's right behind the
or it's right back there?
seat, actually.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
All right.
Black tank.
And then let's take a look at this, the front side of this panel. You got a couple of speed brakes right here, it looks like. We need to slow this thing down. And then 2 Dynon screens. And you are off to the races. Wow. That's the highly modified Lancer Legacy Race 30. What's the name of this one?
Oh, One Moment.
One Moment. There it is, One Moment Racing. Thanks, guys.